My name is Sean. This is Ridge Vineyard. This is my brother Kerry, and he's half owner of this, and he's also has more grapes on his property, another acre's worth of grapes on his. So we're more than just this site. We have another site that we actually grow grapes on. We started in 2012. It actually started on a Christmas the year before, where we were both thinking, what are we going to do when we retire? And we're getting kind of old, so we didn't want to sit around as retired guys and watch TV. So we figured we got to have something to do. So Kerry's wife said, hey, she knows a winery that could use some grapes, and we thought, hey, I got land, let's plant some. So that kind of started, and they let us know what 4 varieties to plant, you know, what they were looking for.
Okay.
So we kind of went off of what they suggested, and that's what you got here now is basically 27 rows, 700 feet long. Well, we actually start out, actually have pictures, we actually started out when there's still snow on the ground.
Oh, really?
And we start pruning. So everything that you see behind us here will be trimmed off, basically down to about an inch or 2 left, 1 or 2 buds, that's it. Everything that's green, all that comes off. So that takes a week and a half probably, but just because there's only the 2 of us that do all this. And then we have to go behind ourselves and pick everything up, which is not fun. So after that, we kind of wait until the buds start to swell a little bit, and then we start our fungicide program. Being that we're in the middle of farm country here, there's a lot of funguses and stuff that are in the air. If you know anything about grapes, like in New York and like in Michigan, they're always planted on the downwind side of a lake or something. So all the funguses and stuff that are airborne won't get on your grapes. Because we don't have that here, we have to have a pretty good fungicide program, otherwise our grapes won't turn out.
So harvest is always dependent upon the grapes and the weather, right? So if the weather is warm and dry, they may be ahead, but you're really trying to get the sugar content of the grapes to a certain level, pH to a certain level, so that they turn into a good wine. It's been tough this year with all the rain. The forecasters will tell you we had 25 inches of rain through the 3 summer months, which is way more than you'd want, because that promotes a lot of bugs, promotes a lot of funguses, a lot of rot, a lot of moistures and molds and stuff. So that's not good for us. The grapes actually do better in drier weather. They actually prefer the weather to be a little drier. And now that our plants are established, they don't need a lot of moisture. So this year, the alcohol content of the wine will be a little bit less than normal. So,
okay.
Other areas of the state we talked with the Wisconsin Grape Growers Association, which we're members of. We've talked to them. Other parts of the states that have been drier have had better crops. So it really does depend upon the weather. You know, grapes are a sun-ripened crop. They're dependent on the weather. Wet weather is not particularly good. Even though here in central Wisconsin we have sandy soil, it drains well. It's still, 2 feet of rain for 3 months is excessive amount of rain. So it really made it a challenge this year to keep the crop.
Basically, we're still both working full time, and like I said, this was going to be a retirement gig for us. And it's gone probably a little quicker than what we thought. So I'm a couple years away probably from retiring, so we got probably another year of at least not one of us kind of working. It's a full-time job, let's just put it that way. It's a lot for just 2 guys. I would say you should have more than 2 guys if you're going to do a vineyard at this size.
If you're going to do a 1 acre on yourself, anticipate you're probably going to spend 12 to 20 hours a week in your vineyard. If you have just a 1 acre, I can speak from my vineyard size. So anticipate you're going to be spending a couple hours a day throughout the summer growing season, between mowing, fertilizing, fungicides, trimming, tucking, all that stuff. It's a lot. So one of the things I always told my dad when we got into this was the one thing you need to do this is some youth would be very helpful. Don't wait till you're 50 to start this.
Make sure you have a lot of time. It's a lot of work. For everybody. Not just in the pruning and the grapes, but all the prep stuff behind it, and contacting the vineyard or the wineries and things like that, and taking care and making sure that we get them what they want when they want it.
Yeah, so we do have we are servicing we've delivered to about 6 different wineries in the state right now. We have 2 main wineries, one Sunset Point in Stevens Point, and one Rocket Wool down in Poinette. Are our main 2 wineries, but we're establishing relationships with a new winery, Lunch Creek Winery. and they are right over the other side of Watoma. So we try to do our best to build our customer base and deliver what they need. So it's all just on a handshake deal. We don't sign contracts. Everything is just word of mouth handshake agreements, and we're just always looking for anybody who's interested in grapes, and if we have extra, we're more than happy to provide them.
Right now we have quite a bit of grapes left to harvest. We only harvested a ton last weekend, and we're going to probably take 2 tons off this weekend. Probably take another 4 tons off next weekend, the way it's looking.
We get the pickers. I put a notice on Facebook, or we have Ridge Vineyard Facebook. I put a message on there. Once we have established pickers, I send them a personal note to let them know that we're picking, and it has grown immensely. We've got a blog with Stevens Point Bureau Convention Center, and so that has attracted some people, just something different to do. I think with COVID last year, that's kind of when all this really came to. And we make food. There's always a meal after picking.
So typically we harvest between 18, I think last year we were at 22,000 pounds.
Yeah.
We were hoping to get more than that this year, but we're not going to get that because of the growing season not being that good. But I think overall, I think we're going to be close to 30,000 pounds when we're all set up. So once we're done picking, we're pretty much done. And we just let the leaves fall off and let it sit for the winter, and then right away, as soon as you can get out there when the snow is just starting to melt, we get back on and we start the process all over again.